in. Oh, hi, good to see you. Come in, do come in and close the door. Yeah, in the Coleridge corner. Although it's not really. This is Coleridge. This is a whole miscellany of things. But the usual issues of new stuff coming in all the time from college. And I've just realised we have a new companion in the room here, a rather sort of mischievous spirit. This is, as you can see, a green man, a rather sort of stick your tongue out and green man, but with the beautiful foliate head. This is, in fact, it's so beautifully done that you can't really tell that it's not the piece of lovely old oak which its original is. This is the Green Man of Isleham Church, and out in the fens. And it was a bit of a discovery because the church was having the roof renovated, and they discovered that they had two carvings that they didn't know about. One was this Green Man, and the other was an angel, and they were right up in the eaves of the roof, so actually nobody could see them. I mean, they'd been there since medieval days, and they'd been sort of gazing at one another across the space of the roof, invisibly to all, to themselves and God. And actually something wonderful I thought about the kind of green and springing and vibrant and all of that, the sort of both animal and, if you like, vegetable side of our nature, and then the angelic and spiritual side of nature, both kind of gathered into the church and contemplating one another. Anyway, it's a curious story how I happened to be given this. This is a reproduction, but it's carved, we think, in 1495 and discovered in the restoration of St Andrew's, Isleham in 2004. And I'm not quite sure where to put him, actually. I had him in my study at Girton, but I'm putting him here for now. I think Coleridge, he's guarding Coleridge's notebooks, some of which have some quite green mannish entries. There's a lot of work being done, some good and some not so good, on the Green Man, which used to be called the foliate head until Lady Raglan invented the term the Green Man in the 1930s. These wonderful carved figures of a sort of a person from whose mouth vines and tendrils and green springing things come. And of course people have tried to make the case that this is a sort of these are sort of pagan figures, and they may well have their roots back in a pre-Christian understanding of the goodness and fertility of the earth. But they're not, strictly speaking, pagan in the sense that all the green men that we have are in fact carved in churches. And somebody wanted them to be there, and the church approved of their being there, and the great masons who carved the churches put them there. And of course, if you go to Southwell Minster, there's just an astonishing array of them, beautiful carvings. And of course, Gothic architecture, with its lovely springing columns that branched out, was meant to be a kind of forest of light in stone. And so perhaps these forest-dwelling spirits were meant to be part of them. I think these things can be and should be, and indeed have been brought to Christ. So let me tell you the story, and I'll do it partly in song, about how I came to possess this particular Green Man. So come and have a seat, and perhaps rather than reciting to you, I'll sing to you. If I'm going to sing to you, I'm going to refresh myself as well. Funnily enough, going with the Green Man, this is one of my favourite ales. This is by a brewery in Devon, I think, called Witchwood, and it's called Hobgoblin. So there's another sort of character from English folk, the Hobgoblin. They used to have it's a very strong, dark, wonderfully kind of nut roasty, flavourful beer. And they used to have a great poster when they came out with this Hobgoblin character leering up out at you out of the corner of a bar, and the slogan is, "What's the matter, lager boy? Afraid you might taste something?" So, of course, real ale aficionados like me thought it was a very good thing. So, let me tell you, I hope I've got a plectrum here somewhere. Let me tell you how I came to get that Green Man. It was a present. Do you know, I probably genuinely lost my pick now. I may have to... Oh, no, here we are. So, I had written a song called The Green Man, and it became a bit of a signature song for me and my band. And the way it came about was I was walking along through Grantchester Meadows towards the Green Man public house in Grantchester with a good friend of mine, and we were talking about that lovely thing, Blake's lovely supposal, the legend of Glastonbury, when Blake says, and did those feet in ancient time walk upon England's mountains green, and was the holy Lamb of God on England's pleasant pastures seen, did the countenance divine shine forth upon our clouded hills. So, and this is all the idea that somehow Joseph of Arimathea had brought the child Jesus to England, when he was a boy, because there was the trading of the Phoenicians and the Cornish tin mines. It's a wonderful piece of legend. But we were thinking about it and talking about it and saying, well, we were talking about the great I am sayings in John, like, I am the vine, and you are the branches, or I am the good shepherd. And so we just got into this little riff about if Jesus had been walking, as we were walking, along a beautiful English meadow by a fine, full, flowering hedgerow, and he were teaching his disciples and saying some I am sayings, what would he say? And I just, without really having reflected on it much, I just said, I am the Green Man. That the one who could turn, the water into wine and feed 5,000 from 2 loaves and 5 small fishes has, as it were, at his command all the fecundity and beauty of the earth. And it's a bit like saying a greater than Solomon is here. I mean, I think the coming of Christ is the crowning and summation of all that was good and was hinted at, was a kind of hint of Christ in the pre-Christian religions. Although some things are also rebuked and brought to an end, but other things flourish. Like the song of the Waterboys, where they say, at sea in a ship in a thunderstorm, the very night that Christ was born, the sailors heard from overhead a mighty voice cry, Pan is dead, so follow Christ as best you can. Pan is dead, long live Pan. And so something greater is... So anyway, I just said, I think it'd be saying, I'm the Green Man. Anyway, I went home and thought about it a little more, and I wrote a song called The Green Man, which I thought was probably slightly overdoing it in terms of my links to Christ. I'm the roots on the stock, I'm the tender shoots and the vine, I'm the goodness in the bread, I'm the wildness in the wine. And, a chorus saying, if you cut me down, I'll spring back green again. But the funny thing was that, when I played it in pubs, the ordinary people in the pubs who chatted to me at the interval, and bought me a pint, were saying, that thing about I'll spring back green, because they know I'm a priest. I could be green again, or the bread and the wine, is that about communion, or is the spring back about Easter? And they were getting it. Meantime, some of my stricter Christian brethren who tried to keep me in order, heard this rumour that I was going around singing songs, as they thought, pagan songs about green men, and they're saying, oh, Guy's gone native, And I found rebukes from Christians who should have known better and should have spotted the Bible passages, not seeing Christ in these things, where other people had. Anyway, so this had become a bit of a thing and was known about, and must have reached the bishop's ear, because I got an email from the diocese with the title Little Green Men, which is a bizarre title from the bishop's secretary. Anyway, it turned out that they discovered this Green Man in Iceland, and the good people of Iceland who were discovered it because they're having to repair the church, were desperate to raise some funds to repair the church. And they wanted to make those replicas like the one I've just shown you and sell them on the internet. And they thought it'd be great if the bishop signed a certificate of authenticity to say, this is the genuine Isleham Green Man. And the bishop was just slightly anxious that he might be promoting some kind of new age fantabulism and, not promoting the true gospel. So he wanted to make sure that there was some sense that it was right that these things were in churches. So I wrote a learned letter to the bishop and quoting my song and saying, anyway, so he said, oh, that's really good. He said, well, I'll tell the people of Iceland that I can sign this thing, provided that at the launch of it, you come and preach and sing the song. So I did, because the bishop says move and you move. So I did that, and they gave me this in gratitude. So that's how I sort of earned the Green Man. Anyway, you can decide for yourself whether you think it's... neo-pagan or neo-Christian or or whatever you think it is, but it's quite a fun song. My face in the foliage, you've seen that face before, carved in the choir by your fathers in days of yore. I'm the power in the pulse, I'm the song underneath the soil. I'm the unseen king of the ditches, ragged and royal. I'm the green man, don't take my name in vain. I'm the green man, time to break my chain. If you cut me down, I'll spring back green again. I'm the roots on the stalk, I'm the tender shoots on the vine. I'm the goodness in the bread, I'm the wildness in the wine. There's power in the place where my softest tendrils are curled. And my softest touch is the strongest thing in the world. I'm the green man, don't take my name in vain. I'm the green man, time to break my chain. If you cut me down, I'll spring back green again. I'm the grass at your feet, I'm the leaves that shade your head. I'll be your bower of bliss, I'll be your green grass bed. I'm in the finest flower, I'm the power in the wickedest weed. And I plow the furrow with pleasure and plant my seed. 'Cause I'm the green man, I make love with the rain. I'm the green man, I feel like breaking my chain. If you cut me down, I'll spring back green. You can't cover me in concrete, staple me down with steel. Spread your houses, your car parks over my fields. I'll still be there, keeping everything alive. And I'll spring back green, but you may not survive. I'm the green man, don't take my name in vain. I'm the green man, time to break my chain. If you cut me down, I'll spring back green again. If you cut me down, I'll spring back green again. If you cut me down, I'll spring back green again. Anyway, a bit of fun, maybe theological fun, but fun nevertheless. Cheers.